This is Jack, your coach, after 60, and I want to start with a simple truth. I'm 82 years old, and I am still strong enough to get out of a chair without using my hands, walk up a flight of stairs, and carry my own groceries. Not because I'm special, but because I never stopped doing two simple exercises that Jack LaLanne's training philosophy drilled into my brain decades ago. Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like your body is quietly giving up on you? You sit down in your favorite chair and realize you need to push off with both hands just to stand up. You reach for the handrail every time you see a staircase, even a small one. You walk across the living room and feel a little wobble, like your body isn't as steady as it used to be. Maybe you used to love going for walks, but now you avoid certain routes because there's a hill, a curb, or a few uneven steps that make you nervous. Maybe you've caught yourself thinking, maybe this is just what being old feels like. But here's what I want you to hear from an 82-year-old who has lived this in his own body. Getting older is inevitable. Losing all your strength is not. The truth is, most people after 70 are quietly losing strength week after week. Not because they're old, but because they stopped training the handful of movements that actually keep their body alive. Jack LaLanne used to say, your body doesn't stop because you age. It stops because you stop using it. In this video, I'm going to show you the two exercises that have kept me strong through my 70s and now into my 80s. Two movements you can do at home without machines in just a few minutes to help you stay on your feet, get out of chairs more easily, and feel like your body is still on your side. If you stay with me until the end, you'll walk away with a clear understanding of what's really happening to your muscles after 70. The exact way to perform these two exercises safely, a realistic weekly plan you can actually follow, and the mindset that helped me keep going, even on days when my 82-year-old body didn't feel like cooperating. Before we go deeper, I want to ask you for something personal. My dream is to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. We're very close to that goal, only about 100 people away. If you're over 60 or 70, or you love someone who is, and this kind of honest, practical guidance helps you feel less afraid of losing your strength, please take a second right now to subscribe to the channel. It might seem like a small action, but for me it means a lot. And more importantly, it helps this message reach more older adults who are afraid of becoming dependent on others. And in the comments, tell me which country and city you're watching from. I love seeing messages like Houston, Texas, San Diego, California, Dallas, Texas, Los Angeles, California, or wherever you are in the world. It helps me picture you while I'm talking to this camera. All right, now let me tell you a bit more about who I am and what I've seen. I'm Jack, your coach after 60. I've spent decades studying and applying the principles Jack LaLanne preached long before fitness influencers existed. He believed in simple, consistent training that ordinary people could do for life, not just when they were young and full of energy. Over the years, I've coached men and women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who thought their body was finished. They came to me saying things like, "My legs retire at noon. I'm terrified of falling. I can't even stand up without using my arms." And I've watched them slowly reclaim their strength using basic movements, like the two we're going to talk about today. Before we go on, one very important note. This video is for education and guidance only. It does not replace your doctor, your physical therapist, or any medical professional who knows your specific situation. If you have severe chest pain, strong shortness of breath with small efforts, very high or uncontrolled blood pressure, recent surgery in your hips, knees, or spine, or sharp electric shooting pain in your legs, talk to your doctor before starting any exercise program. We want to train smart, not push blindly. With that said, let's understand what's really going on inside your muscles. After 50, and especially after 60, your body naturally starts to lose muscle mass. This process has a fancy name, sarcopenia, but you don't need the word. You feel it. You feel it when you can't get up from the floor as easily. You feel it when you avoid carrying heavy grocery bags. You feel it when your legs get tired faster on stairs. Your muscles are like a team of workers. When you were younger, you had a full crew on the job. They worked all day, no problem. But as the years go by and you move less, your body slowly lays off some of those workers. It decides we don't need this many strong fibers if we're just sitting most of the day. So your crew gets smaller. The workers that remain get tired fast. And any extra task, like standing up from a low chair, feels like too much. The good news is, even after 70, you can still rehire some of those workers. You can wake up sleeping muscle fibers and teach the ones you still have to work better with the rest of your body. The bad news is, if you don't do that, gravity wins. You feel it one chair, one step, one small stumble at a time. I've seen this many times. Henry, 78, from Houston, Texas, once told me, "Jack, my legs clock out at lunchtime. After that, I'm just shuffling." He wasn't dramatically ill. His legs were simply undertrained for the life he still wanted to live. Once we started working with a couple of key movements, his story began to change. Today, I want to give you those same key movements, the 2 exercises I promised you in the title, and a way to make them part of your week. Before we talk about the exercises, let's quickly check where you are right now. As you listen, don't judge yourself. This is not about passing or failing. It's about understanding your starting point. Ask yourself, how hard is it to stand up from a chair without using your hands? How do stairs feel compared to 10 or 20 years ago? Do you ever feel your legs tremble or give way for a second when you move? If you're in a safe place and you feel confident, you can try this later. Sit on a firm chair, not too low. Place your feet flat on the floor, shoulder width apart. Cross your arms over your chest, or place your hands lightly on your thighs without pushing. Try to stand up using mostly your legs. If that's impossible right now, don't worry. That simply means you're exactly the kind of person these exercises were made for. Now let's get into the first one. Exercise 1, sit to stand, the independence movement. If there is one movement that predicts independence after 70, it's this one, standing up from a chair. You do it when you get out of bed in the morning, off the toilet, off the sofa, out of the car, and up from the dining table. When that movement becomes very hard, almost everything in daily life becomes more complicated. Jack LaLanne always insisted that strength wasn't about how much you could lift in the gym. It was about how well you could control your own body. The sit to stand is the perfect example of that. You'll need a sturdy chair, preferably without wheels, and not too soft. If your chair is very low, you can add a firm cushion to raise the seat. Here's how to do it safely. Sit on the front half of the chair. Your feet should be flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Your knees are bent roughly at 90 degrees. Or a bit more open if that's easier. Place your hands on your thighs for now. Think of them as helpers, not the main engine. Lean your chest slightly forward, keep your back long, don't collapse. Imagine your nose moving over your toes. Press your feet into the floor, especially through your heels. As you push down, drive your body upward to stand up. Use your legs as the main power, letting your hands only assist lightly. Once you're fully standing, straighten your hips, and gently squeeze your butt. Stand tall for a moment. Breathe. To sit back down, push your hips backward first. Bend your knees and slowly lower yourself with control. Try to make the landing as quiet and controlled as possible. That's 1 repetition. For many people over 70, this movement is harder than they expect. They discover just how much they've been relying on their arms. If that's you, you're not broken. You're just out of training. To make it easier, you can use a higher chair or add cushions. You can place the chair near a table or counter so you can lightly hold on. You can start with partial movements, lifting your hips just a little off the chair and sitting back down. Over time, you can aim for 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 8 repetitions, with 60 to 90 seconds of rest between sets. If you can only do 3 or 4 with good form, that's okay. Your goal is not to copy someone on the internet. Your goal is to show up again and again and again. Let me tell you about Linda, 74, from San Diego, California. When we met, she said, "Jack, I feel embarrassed at family dinners. I need help getting out of the chair." We tested her sit to stand without using her hands. She couldn't complete a single repetition. She fell back into the chair halfway up. She looked at me and said, "See, I'm done." We didn't argue. We trained. We raised her chair, let her use her hands generously at first, and started with sets of 5 twice a week. That was it. The first 2 weeks, she felt silly. I'm 74 and training to stand up from a chair. By week 4, she said, "I don't feel as stuck anymore." After 2 months, she got up from her daughter's dining chair in front of her family with only a light push from her legs, and she didn't need someone to pull her up. Her life didn't magically become easy, but she moved from stuck to capable. That's what this exercise can do for you. Exercise 2, wall push-ups, upper body strength for real life. You might be thinking, "Jack, if this video is about staying strong at 82, why are we talking about upper body strength now?" Because Jack LaLanne always trained the body as a system. If your legs are strong enough to push you up, but your upper body and arms can't catch you when you trip, or help you push off a surface when you get off the floor, you're still at risk. The second exercise Jack's philosophy hammered into me is a simple one. Wall push-up. Not the push-ups you see young athletes doing on the floor. We'll do them standing, with your hands on the wall so they're safe and manageable for older shoulders and wrists. Here's how to do them. Stand facing a wall. Place your hands on the wall, at about chest height, slightly wider than your shoulders. Fingers pointing up.
Palms flat. Walk your feet back until your body is leaning toward the wall. Your heels stay on the floor. Your body forms a straight line from head to heels, like a plank at an angle. Tighten your midsection gently, as if bracing your belly. Keep your neck relaxed, eyes looking roughly at your hands. Slowly bend your elbows, letting your chest move closer to the wall. Your elbows angle out slightly, not glued to your sides, not completely flared out. Take about 2 seconds to go in. Stop when your face is a few inches from the wall. You don't need to touch it. Pause for a moment. Push yourself back to the starting position by straightening your arms. Take about 2 seconds to come out. Don't slam your elbows locked. Keep a tiny softness at the end. That's 1 repetition. You should feel the effort in your chest, shoulders and arms, but also in your core, holding your body line, and even a bit in your legs as they stabilize you. To start, many people over 70 do well with 2 sets of 6 to 10 repetitions, with about 60 seconds of rest between sets. If that's too hard, stand closer to the wall. The more upright you are, the easier it becomes. Do fewer repetitions. Even 3 or 4 good ones are better than 15 sloppy ones. If that's too easy, step your feet farther back. Slow the movement down. 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out. Now you may ask, what does this have to do with staying strong at 82? Think of all the situations where you need pushing strength. Pushing yourself up from the bed or couch, pressing down on the armrests of a chair to help your legs, bracing yourself on a countertop if you feel unsteady, getting down to and up from the floor if you ever need to. When I was in my 40s, I watched Jack LaLanne talk about the power of push-ups for everyday strength. I modified his approach for my own aging body. As I moved through my 70s and into my 80s, wall push-ups became part of my non-negotiable routine. Ralph, 80, from Dallas, Texas, was skeptic. Jack, push-ups? At my age? When he first tried wall push-ups, he could only do 5 before his arms shook. Getting out of bed in the morning was slow and awkward. He had to roll and push in strange angles. We started with 2 sets of 5, 3 times a week. 6 weeks later, he told me, I still don't love them, but getting out of bed is smoother. I don't feel like a turtle on its back anymore. That's the point. These 2 exercises, sit to stand and wall push-ups, work together to train the movements that matter. Standing up, pushing yourself away from surfaces, and controlling your body weight in daily life. Now let's talk about how to put them into a simple weekly plan. Weekly plan to stay strong after 70. I promised you a routine that fits into real life, not into a fantasy fitness poster. Here's a simple way to use these 2 exercises to stay strong after 70, 80 and beyond. Aim for 3 days per week. For example, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Keep each session around 15 to 20 minutes. A session can look like this. Start with a warm-up of 3 to 5 minutes. March lightly in place, while holding the back of a chair. Circle your shoulder, gently bend, and straighten your knees a few times. The goal is simply to get your joints moving, and your blood flowing. Then move into sit to stands. Do 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 8 repetitions, with 60 to 90 seconds of rest between sets. Use cushions or a higher chair if needed. After that, do wall push-ups. Do 2 sets of 6 to 10 repetitions, with about 60 seconds of rest between sets. Adjust your distance from the wall to control the difficulty. Finish with a short cool down of 2 to 3 minutes. Sit and gently stretch your arms and legs. Roll your shoulders and ankles slowly. Take a few deep breaths, and let your body relax. If this feels like too much at first, do just 1 set of each exercise, 3 days per week. As it feels easier, add a second set.
If that still feels like a lot, break the work into pieces during the day. Sit to stands in the morning, wall push-ups later in the afternoon. The important thing is not perfection. The important thing is repetition. I want to be very honest with you. You're not going to wake up tomorrow feeling 30 years younger. But if you adopt this plan 3 times per week, something starts to change. In 2 to 3 weeks, standing up may feel just a little smoother. Your arms may feel a bit stronger when you press on surfaces. Your body may wake up more quickly in the morning. In 6 to 8 weeks, you may be able to do more repetitions. You may rely less on your hands to stand from a chair. Pushing off the bed, couch or counter may feel less fragile. In 3 months and beyond,
The biggest change is not just in your muscles, it's in your confidence. You think less. Think less. Before standing up, you simply stand. You are still careful, but you don't feel as trapped in your own body. Rosa, 79, from San Jose, California, was one of my favorite examples. She told me, Jack, I feel like my body is retiring, but my mind isn't ready. Standing up from a chair was slow. Pushing a heavy door was a struggle. She felt useless every time someone had to give her a hand, just so she could ride. We started with this plan, twice a week at first, then 3 times a week. Sit to stands with a higher chair, wall push-ups, standing fairly close to the wall. 2 months later, she didn't turn into an athlete, but she called me and said, I still move like an old lady, but I don't feel helpless anymore. For me, that's a win. Mindset to stay strong at 82. Now let's talk about what you don't see in short clips. The mindset. There are days when my 82-year-old body does not want to cooperate. My joints complain. My sleep was bad. My mood is low. On those days it's very easy to think, I'm too old for this. What's the point? But those are the days when the decision matters most. You don't need perfection. You need persistence. Instead of saying I can't, I say, today I'll do less. But I'll do something. Maybe instead of 3 sets, you do 1. Maybe today you only practice standing up from your chair 3 times, slowly and with control. That still counts. And it counts a lot. Think of it this way. Doing nothing is a decision. Doing a little is also a decision. One path leads to more and more weakness. The other path leads to a future where you still have as much strength as your age will allow. You don't need to train like an athlete. You just need to stop living like a statue. Let's quickly recap everything you learned today. I'm 82 years old, and I'm still strong enough for daily life. Not because I'm lucky, but because I never stopped training 2 simple movements. After 70, your muscles naturally weaken if you don't use them. It's not your fault that this happens, but it is your responsibility to decide what you'll do about it now. The first exercise, the sit to stand, trains the movement of independence. Getting up from bed, the toilet, the chair, the car. It's uncomfortable at first, but it's at the heart of your autonomy. The second exercise, the wall push-up, strengthens your upper body to push yourself up from surfaces, help your legs when you stand, and support you when you need to brace yourself. The weekly plan is simple. 3 days per week, about 15 to 20 minutes per session, with a few sets repeated over the weeks and months. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to stay as capable as possible for as long as possible. If you're still with me at this point, I want to thank you. Most people click away as soon as they realize they might actually have to do something. You stayed. That tells me you're serious about taking care of yourself. We're building a small but powerful community of people who refuse to age sitting down.
This channel is very close to reaching its first 1,000 subscribers. That first group will always be special to me because they're the ones who started this journey. If this video helped you understand your body better, or if even one of these 2 exercises feels like something you can try, consider subscribing and being part of that first group. But I want to ask you for one more thing. Think of one person in your life, a friend, a sibling, a spouse, a neighbor, who is over 60 and you know is getting weaker, more dependent, more afraid. Share this video with them. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give is not advice. It's a clear path. And in the comments, tell me 2 things. Which exercise are you going to try first? The sit to stand or the wall push-ups? And how do you want to feel at 80 or 82? Stuck to the sofa, or still able to stand up and move with some freedom? If you haven't told me yet, you can also write your country and city. I love reading Houston, Texas, San Diego, California, Dallas, Texas, Los Angeles, California, and imagining where each of you is practicing. Before you go, there's one more piece I don't want you to miss. Today we talked about 2 exercises you can do during the day, but there is a critical moment most people ignore, the first minutes of the morning. When you get out of bed, many people over 60 take their first steps of the day like they're walking on glass. Stiff, painful, afraid of falling right there. It doesn't have to be that way.
I have another video on this channel called Over 60. Jack LaLanne's morning routine rebuilds strength in 5 minutes. In that video I show you a short morning sequence to loosen your joints, wake up your muscles, and make those first steps of the day feel safer and more stable. Most people your age have no idea how much 5 minutes in the morning can change the way your body responds for the rest of the day. So now that you know the 2 exercises that keep me strong at 82, the perfect next step is to watch that morning routine and combine the 2. You don't need to compete with younger people. You need to take care of the body you have today. Every repetition you do now is a gift to your future self.